This broadcast is presented by the authority of the Pacific Coast Sports Racing Association and the National Association of Professional Racing Leagues Incorporated for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, rebroadcast, retransmission, or any other disseminations or the use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Pacific Coast Sports Racing Association and the National Association of Professional Racing Leagues Incorporated is prohibited. On the PCSRA Sports and Gaming Channel from Learfield IMG College. Welcome to Triple P on the Blue Hedgehog TV. Now here's the voice of the PCSRA, Mr. Daniel Voiles.
Welcome to the Sunshine and Fun Show edition of Triple P. I am Daniel Voiles. Welcome to the adorable PCSRA studios, which we're excited to be with you guys for today's broadcast as we're getting set for a fun show here today. I'm the only one in the VC because I'm getting ready to go over a few announcements with you all before we get started with today's show. If you notice on the YouTube channel, next week we're going to be doing reactions for the Daytona weekend. So hope you guys are excited about that. We'll be live. We'll have the dual reactions, even though there's only going to be, as of right now, one car going home. But next week on the show, we're going to make predictions, which will, by the way, be on a Monday because of the fact that, or actually, no, it'll be on a Wednesday because of the fact that we have some people. We don't know the final entry list as far as that's concerned, as one of my panelists has joined into the conversation. I'll introduce him in just a second. So hope you guys are looking forward to that. We'll have the dual reactions, the truck reactions, Xfinity and Cup reactions, all the times I've already been listed up on my channel. The amazing expert panel who just came into the studio. We want to welcome to the broadcast Mr. Zachary Taylor, driver of the Purdue University Screw Indiana Hoosiers Toyota for Indiana Motorsports. How are you, Mr. Taylor? You knew I was going to bring that up.
Anyway.
But how are you, Mr. Taylor? Yes. I have to say that line because if I don't say that line, then Zachary Taylor's going to fine me $1,000 for every time I don't say that line. But that's another story to tell. So, all right, Mr. Taylor, let's talk about Formula E. Was we're going to get into recapping the Saudi Arabian E-Prix, but I got a lot of stuff I need to clear off, which I'll do that later. You can go away on my phone, that is. Let's actually do that right now, as I'm going to go ahead and clear some stuff off of there. So let's talk about Saudi Arabia, Mr. Taylor. I thought it was pretty good racing we had. It was probably a lot of fun as far as that's concerned. And of course, our two winners were Jake Dennis and Nick Cassidy. So congratulations to the both of them. Their first wins on the season. So the top, that's not the results. This is the results. The top 10 results for race 1 for the Diriyah E-Prix. Jake Dennis, the winner, Jean-Eric Verne second. Nick Cassidy got third. Fourth was Sam Bird, Mitch Evans fifth. Norman Nato got sixth. Maximilian Gunter seventh. Pascal Verlaine eighth. Sergio Sette Camara ninth after his mechanical problem he had at Mexico last time out. And Robert Fringe complete the top 10. Your other notables: Sebastian Buemi got 12th, Stoffel Van Dorn 14th, Antonio Felix Acosta 16th, Nick DeFries 17th, Dan Tickham 21st, and Sacha Fenestraz of France ended up finishing in last place out of the event. Race 2 top 10 results. Nick Cassidy, the winner. Robert Fringe second. Oliver Rowland third. Jake Hughes fourth. Stoffel Van Dorn fifth. Saka Frenestras sixth. Pascal Verline seventh. Your most recent winner until this weekend. Finished seventh. Jean-Eric Vergne eighth. Maximilian Chilton ninth. Mitch Evans 10th. Your other notables: Jake Dennis got 12th, the defending series champion. Nico Mueller 13th. Nick DeFries 15th. And four cars rather did not see the checker flag. Dan Tickham, Jehan Daruvala, Sam Bird, and Sebastian Buemi did not take the start after he was involved in a qualifying crash earlier that day. So, Mr. Taylor, I turn over to you and ask your thoughts on the race weekend from Diriyah.
Definitely, it was an interesting weekend. We saw some good racing happen. Some really interesting finishing results there in a few of those races. But overall, it was a good weekend for the racing there.
Yeah, my thoughts it was a very interesting race. I thought, the two races were good. It sucks for Sebastian Buemi. Sebastian Buemi had a struggle, but these drivers really did a good job. Diriyah was a fun race, and I thought it was one of our favorite races we love to watch. Mr. Taylor, let's give it a rating while we're waiting for everybody else to join the VC. From 1 to 10, Taylor, what would you rate the Diriyah E-Prix? Let's start with race 1 and then race 2.
Race 1. I will give it a B.
A what?
A B.
A B, so that's like, in other words, for what number from 1 to 10?
No way, that's supposed to be numbers, not.
Nice job, you derp. Here's a dunce hat for you. We're not in Sesame Street in this VC, okay? But you said it was a good race, in all seriousness. Even though you did give it a B, which that was not what I asked you to. But hey, at least that's a good demonstration. You gave a good reason. But in all seriousness, what number would you give it? In all seriousness.
Don't mind me. I will give it an 8.5.
Okay. The reason Taylor said B is because Taylor Jr. is already home from school while we're recording this portion of our show. So just a FYI. And also Blue Jr. is home too. Okay, I'll make the same mistake as Taylor, except I'm not going to be drunk on what. I thought it was a B too, and also I'm going to agree with Taylor, 8.5. Race 2?
I will give it a 8.5 as well.
I'm going to go 8.5 as well. I mean, the race was really good. We just, or should I say both races, since this is the first doubleheader event of the season, of many to come. I thought it was a really good race, and I really think Formula E deserves this off break now that they've completed 3 races, and we haven't even gotten to the NASCAR stuff, which we're going to discuss some NASCAR stuff in a little bit. Excuse me, I just belched.
Nice motivational belch.
Oh, and I am going to go ahead and throw this little disclaimer. As of this recording, this show is brought to you by KFC, which, just a FYI, and before any of you say anything about me going to Figuresdale, we cannot send me to Figuresdale during this portion of the broadcast. I just want to throw that FYI out there. It will have to be done after the show. Anyway, moving on, just to get that promotional announcement out of the way. let's just go over the global standings. Normally, I don't do this until we get to predictions, but as of this recording, we don't have any races coming up this week. It's best for me to, as I'm getting, Dylan Matthews, that was an unworthy ping you just did just now. As we also want to welcome in our favorite friend. We know him as the author of Time for Me to Wreck the Field, and also our favorite Carnage Master. And for the first time this season, we want to welcome Sean Art, driver of the 99 Trackhouse Chevrolet in the Cup Series.
Excuse me.
Hey, at least I get paid for it. At least I'm not wearing the dunce hat. Oh, unlike Mr. Taylor over here who decided, I'm just going to give it letters and not numbers. And guess what? I have this recorded, Taylor. By the way, this is the first time for Sean this season joining us as we are taping this portion of the broadcast. Now, as I was saying before Sean joined, this is the global standings going into, this is the funny part, we don't have one until March, which will be the Bahrain Grand Prix, which is about, as we're recording this, like 27 days from now. So Cody Smart, Annie Crenshaw tied with 9 points apiece, then Sylvia Cunningham, Rebecca Hawkins, Heather Galloway, Prudence Martindale are 1 point behind them. Then Taylor, Ekstrom, Cunningham, Dalton Jacobs, Hadley Martindale with 7. Aaron Hornish has 6. I have 5 with Ormy Hawkins, Jocelyn Hawkins to be more specific. Betty Johnson, Annie Thomas, Margaret Jacobs, Luna Farmer at 4, and poor Maisie Creighton has 3. But we are still in the early stages of the season as far as that is concerned. For Global. Global's next event, as I said, will not be until March. That's why they're off for the month of February. So, gentlemen, let's jump into the top story news. And let's start with the one that just broke, as of this recording, yesterday. Lewis Hamilton just did an absolute bombshell that he announced that he will be leaving Mercedes, a team that he's been with since, 2013-ish, 14-ish, something like that. That's the team was. The manufacturer, Mercedes, that he's been with them for like 17 years. Lewis Hamilton announced he will be leaving Mercedes at the end of the 2024 season, and he will be driving for Scuderia Ferrari in 2025, which also means Carlos Sainz will not be back at Ferrari next year. And this caught a lot of people off guard, including myself, because I normally complain about Lewis Hamilton, as far as the stuff back in the day, but this news really took a lot of people by surprise, including myself. So let's go around the horn. Zachary Taylor, I'll start with you, then Sean, then me. Your reaction to the Lewis Hamilton leaving Mercedes to go to Ferrari?
Yeah, definitely. That was something that I don't think we saw coming. Definitely, it'll be an interesting move, that's for sure. And definitely, it's going to be interesting to see how Lewis Hamilton does with Ferrari and next season when he goes over there. And definitely, I think I was pretty surprised about that for sure.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Mr. Sean, since this is your first one, go ahead.
I think this is sort of something that we never thought we would hear. Lewis Hamilton has been under the Mercedes banner his entire career, for winning all those championships. Even though it wasn't with one team, because he was also with McLaren before going to Mercedes AMG. But him now going to Ferrari, completely changes how people think about Lewis Hamilton. Because now, who knows what this could bring for him next year? But this year it's going to be kind of bittersweet to see him leave.
Yeah, I think a couple of factors I could throw in here that you guys will probably agree. I think, the reason probably Hamilton thinks it was the time for him to leave Mercedes to go to Ferrari is that, think about this. Since the new regulations begin with this current chassis that F1 has now, Mercedes took a big step back, 2 years ago, even though George Russell did get that only double win, which was the sprint and the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's not Sao Paulo Grand Prix, Brazil. I'm looking at you. Back 2 years ago, which to be fair, we're happy for Georgie finally getting his F1 win as far as that's concerned. But if you look at the stats here, George Russell has done a lot better job with the Mercedes than Lewis. So I think, it's kind of, frustrating as far as with Lewis Hamilton is concerned with the results he's been having, because, Georgie has been doing a lot better ever since George Russell ended up replacing Valtteri Bottas a couple of years ago after Bottas left for what is now going to be Kick Sauber, which is formerly known as Alfa Romeo. But I'm sorry to cut you off, John. But the thing is that I think there might be some cracks in the frictions of the team is probably why Lewis Hamilton's leaving. I mean, that's just my guess, but and to your point, Sean, yeah, he's been with the same manufacturer since 2007. He's had Fernando Alonso as his teammate, Nico Rosberg. He's had Valtteri Bottas. He's had, all of those, all those good drivers. And now for him to go pair it with Charles Leclerc, which I don't think any of us saw this one coming. And, now the other question is going to be, where is Sainz going to go for next year now that he's not coming back to Ferrari? Go ahead, Sean.
Well, you brought up the point on George Russell, and really, in my opinion, Mercedes has been looking more at George Russell to be the future of the team. Because, no offense on Lewis Hamilton, I think he's done his part very well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Lewis thinks he's being downplayed as the number 2 driver instead of being the number 1.
That's kind of surprising, if you know what I mean, with him saying that, he's a number 2 driver, which that really surprises me. But, so, yeah, that really surprises us. So, yeah. Also in F1 news, if you have not seen the Haas car, we're going to rate, I don't know if I posted in the president's chat. Yes, I did. I posted it like 8:27 this morning. So, Zachary Taylor, if you had to rate that Haas livery on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being an absolute disgusting paint scheme and 10 being an amazing paint scheme, what would you rate the livery for Haas for 2024?
I am going to give it, I'm going to say a 5.5 for that.
Okay.
What?
Why would you give it 5.5? Give us a good explanation.
Well, definitely, it is kind of interesting to see that paint scheme there. And it kind of looks like they maybe pulled some of their NASCAR font over to that car as well, a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, that Haas logo looks really too big, if you ask me. Sean, same rating scale for the Haas livery.
Geez, Taylor, that was very rude. Give me a 2.
Okay. Sean goes with a 2. Taylor goes with a 5.
let me give you a reason why I'm giving it a 2.
Okay, go ahead.
That is the most blandest car I have ever seen so far. Especially with you have a giant Haas logo. Nothing is kind of new with any other sponsorships, but it's just one color, really.
Yeah, I think somebody poured like some oatmeal on it is what they just splattered on that Haas logo, or Haas scheme. That's my opinion on that. I'm going to go with a 4 in my opinion.
It is very, it's not that good. It's not that good.
I thought last year's car was a lot better. Last year's paint scheme looked a lot better than this one.
I gotta agree.
Yep. All right, let's see. Zachary Taylor has mentioned about Allstate sponsoring Carson Hostvar, which that's pretty good for Carson Hostvar getting Allstate. Now that means he'll be in good hands as long as he doesn't have his rates go up from an accident this season in the Cup Series. Just saying.
Yeah. So, kind of about that. I do believe that is real because I saw it on Twitter, but I don't know if that was something somebody was joking about or not. So,
Well, last time that Allstate was on a race car was with Casey Kane, so this, if it is true, then I'm kind of not surprised that they have it with Hocevar. So, I mean, it's nice that Hocevar has a new sponsor, but it's not surprising that they're back in the Cup Series.
yeah.
So, yes. Let's see here. Well, so you know how we've been talking about us not doing the Clash, this past weekend as of this taping of our show. Well, I wonder what Sean's reaction to this next topic that we're going to discuss. I wonder if he's going to be happy or if he is going to have a rant show that we're going to listen to for 15 minutes. This is why I say that. According to Adam Stern reports that NASCAR could be taking the Clash to Mexico City. If that doesn't tell you how shocking that is, I don't know what is.
Okay. Right now, I'm going to say this. This depends on what track they want to use. This is really what they want to do here. Because what are they thinking right now?
It's either going to be at Guadalajara or Mexico City. So the only track in Mexico City that they could be racing at would be the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez.
Oh, jeez.
Home of the Mexican Grand Prix for F1. I don't know about the Guadalajara or whatever it is.
Okay. Let me just rant on here for a second. Here's the thing, NASCAR. You think about going to Mexico City. You know your road course package sucks. It really does. So if you want to go there, fix your road course package, and then maybe we'll start talking here. Otherwise, go find another oval. I don't care where you go. As maybe go back to Daytona. How about that? That'd be a good idea.
Yes. Mr. Taylor, your thoughts about that news? Ow, as I hit my elbow on the desk. But go on, Taylor.
Yeah, that is definitely kind of an interesting thing to see where the Clash may potentially go race in the future. And obviously, right now, we don't know how much longer they may stay with where it currently is. So,
Well, the LA Clash it will expire after has already finished up their 3-year deal this past weekend as of this taping of our show.
Yeah, so definitely, it's going to be interesting to see what NASCAR does with the Clash, where they potentially move it to, and Mexico would be interesting with NASCAR racing on an F1 track, that's for sure.
Oh, definitely. Let's see here. Let's see. Of course, the driver market. We'll talk more about that next week in F1 on Triple P. So, yeah, definitely something we'll chat about in the coming days. Let's see here. We okay. So Taylor, how I was talking about the Yarka series that we're gonna have a big entry list.
Mm-hmm.
Take a guess how many cars are entered according to multiple reports. You're gonna say bruh in about 5 seconds.
Over 50.
Rex, they have 50 cars entered and possibly more. Here's why I say this. Right now, if things look like they're going to stay the same with 50 cars entered, they're going to have top 34 get in on speed, 6 with provisionals, which means a lot of good cars will unfortunately have to go home.
And that definitely would send some good teams and good drivers home for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. 55 is TBA. We got Jake Finch, Tanner Gray, Marco Andretti's driving for Cook Racing Technologies, Armani Williams for MBM, which I got to ask this dumb question to Taylor. When did MBM get an ARCA team?
Yeah, that definitely is a bro moment.
Tanner Gray driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, which is a bro moment. Let's see here. Michael Maples for Fast Track. So there's a lot of good cars that definitely could be going home after this weekend. I bet you it's probably going to be all them slow cars, if you know what I mean, that could be missing the show.
And I imagine there probably would be some teams that don't quite have the speed that some of the bigger teams in ARCA do going home as well.
Yeah, but for 50 cars, that's pretty shocking. That's the biggest entry list we've seen in quite some time. So, but hey, we'll take it without any complaints as far as that is concerned. Let's see. Anything from Bob Pockris, of course. As far as I'm concerned, I'll read a statement from Toto Wolff about the Lewis Hamilton departure. Let's see. Nice motivational belch. Oh, let's talk about the charter system now that we're discussing about NASCAR. NASCAR and the teams are in the final year of the current charter system, which means it would guarantee them a spot in each of the races. But multiple reports say if the charter system doesn't get extended, there's a good chance NASCAR could lose all of the teams as far as the charter deal is concerned. Your reaction to that?
Well, definitely that would make things interesting because teams right now with the charter are getting guaranteed into a race for the Cup Series. And that definitely is a good thing to have, but so that way the teams can walk into the event. But if that goes away, yeah, I mean, it would save the teams money so that they don't have to buy a charter or anything. But definitely it would be interesting to see what happens if the charter system was to go away. I think you would see more like the Xfinity Series and Truck Series kind of deal going on over there. So with so many cars locking in on speed and then a few spots left for provisionals and stuff, I mean, you could see something like that happen if the charter system did go away. It definitely would be interesting.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Senor Sean?
Charter system going away, it would make it for more exciting racing and a lot more drivers. Hopefully, but I don't know if that's going to be the greatest thing.
Yeah, I think it could be bad because if they end up losing this, the teams could be running in another series, and that could be possibly the downfall for NASCAR, which that's something they don't want to have happen. Which, if it does happen, that would be a shame because the teams really want the money to keep going racing, and of course we're on what is this, the third year with this next gen car, and they definitely need to get more revenue. I mean, they just recently signed a TV deal, so hopefully they won't do anything on track that will that as far as taking their frustrations on them. So we'll have to wait and see what happens as far as that is concerned. Other topics I need to mention, Bahrain will be the first race for the 2025 Formula One season, or not 2025. Australia will be the first race of the 2025 F1 season. That was confirmed today. While the rest of the schedule has not been announced, that's the day Lewis Hamilton will make his Ferrari debut. So, yeah, that will make things very interesting. So, yeah. Let's see here. Do we have any other news? Taylor, jump in if you have any news. If you know any news that you've already released. Let's see here. I heard Alex Clubb got Colby Evans to be a part of his pit crew for the Daytona 500. Oh, I just found Ross Chastain's Kubota paint scheme, which I'm going to go ahead and post this in the President's chat. What do you think, Taylor? Yeah, what do you think about this paint scheme, Taylor?
That is actually cool.
Only Zachary Taylor who knows the word cool in the sentence. So let's see here. A couple of things I haven't mentioned. You know how Sean was talking about Mercedes and we were talking about, the Lewis Hamilton deal? Well, this morning, as of this recording of as far as this taping of our broadcast, the FIA's International Court of Appeal has made a decision that shows Mercedes most likely would have lost any appeal over the controversy incident from Abu Dhabi in 2021.
I don't know why we're still on that. That's a bit ridiculous, in my opinion.
Yeah, but people won't stop complaining about it on social media.
Well,
So.
yeah. Here's the thing, though. that's a fault on race directors.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, you know the slits we've seen on the Cup cars, Zachary Taylor?
Uh-huh.
Now they're going to be on the rear windows for the Xfinity series. What's your well? I would probably say try to escape that heat air out of the car. Okay with it? Not okay with it? Sean, I'll start with you.
Not really. I'm not a big fan on it. Really, you want the air coming towards you, not to go behind you.
Well, I think it's going to make it a little cooler, but it's still going to be pretty hot in there. Xfinity Series also announced. This is from Podcast. Richmond in March, which is, by the way, next month, which is a little weird, is going to be the qualifier. The Richmond race, that is, will be the qualifier for the Dash for Cash. And then the 4 races, which will be Martinsville, Texas, Talladega, Dover, which Cup drivers are not going to be in those 4 races because of the Dash for Cash. Cup drivers will be allowed to race at Iowa and Chicago, but will not be allowed for the final 8 races, which makes sense if you ask me. So this brings the question. I'm going to start with Taylor. With some of the Cup drivers that have already raced at Iowa before, from Trucks and Xfinity, and in fact, this is actually going to be a group discussion. With Iowa, the newest track on the Cup Series, with most of the Cup drivers who've run the Trucks and Xfinity Series, does that give them an advantage when we get ready to see the first ever Cup race at Iowa?
Definitely that experience at Iowa could give some guys an advantage for the drivers that have raced there, and could kind of give them an upper hand and give them the advantage to go out there and perform well. So definitely that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But definitely I think for the drivers that have raced at Iowa in the Truck and Xfinity Series, definitely I think they could have the advantage and kind of have a little bit of an upper hand.
Okay, Sean?
I don't think so. And the reason why I throw this in, some of these drivers haven't raced in Iowa in a very long time.
That's a good point, though.
And it's kind of like how we thought drivers who used to race at Gateway in the lower series could have had the advantage. And we know that's not true.
I can agree with that because, it's good that, for some of them, they know how to get around Iowa. For others, they've never raced at Iowa before. But, to Sean's point, they haven't raced there since, I want to say the early 2010s, believe it or not.
That is true.
Because I know Christopher Bell, the last time he raced at Iowa was back in, what was it, Taylor, 2019, the Xfinity Series?
I think it was.
All right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, so we're going to have to wait and see about that as far as that's concerned. For the Truck Series, the Triple Truck Challenges, Charlotte, Gateway, Nashville. You guys are not surprised about that change, or that is the same 3 tracks from last year's schedule. Thought so. But I will let you guys have your thoughts about this topic right here. All of the races in Trucks and Xfinity, which, by the way, that includes the standalone races for them, will have competitive pit stops. Did you guys like the non-competitive pit stops, or do you guys like the competitive pit stops that we now see for Trucks and Xfinity?
Well, definitely, this is definitely going to make pit stop wise for the truck and Xfinity teams, and definitely something that they'll have to adjust to, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. That's for sure.
Okay.
I like more the competitive style of things because the non-competitive stuff just makes the races boring. And we all want to watch racing for the competitiveness, the action, and all that. So I think that's something that could work, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. I like the competitive pit stops. The non-competitive pit stops that they started doing made a lot of no sense. And to your point, Sean, I really love the competitive pit stops. So I agree. This is definitely the right move for them. Let's see. Here's something new for the Xfinity Series and Truck Series. Xfinity trucks will go to a 9-gallon gas can, which was 11 gallons. It will decrease weight by 10 to 15 pounds. I don't think that's going to make a difference as far as that's concerned. As far as the racing is concerned, but that's just me on a silver platter. We talked about Wayne Otten on last week's show, announced that this will be his final year as a Xfinity Series managing director. Of course, he'll remain in NASCAR after that. Who will replace him is TBD. So, yeah. Let's see here. I need to put that in there. Let me see. Oh, the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka, one of our favorite tracks. Of course, favorite for Lewis Hamilton. Also was a favorite for Seb Vettel. Got a contract extension, which means the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka has been extended to 2029. I love it. I love Suzuka. So, yes. Yeah. This next topic, which we will have a further discussion on the IMSA podcast with Mr. Zachary Taylor, which will be right after the St. Petersburg weekend, which we're only going to talk a little bit about this, but for a much more discussion, Zachary Taylor and I will discuss this on the IMSA podcast, which will be after the St. Pete weekend. But Starcom Racing, a former NASCAR Cup Series team, will be running a part-time Michelin Pilot Challenge schedule for 2024. And like I said, more discussion on that when we get to the IMSA podcast with Zachary Taylor and myself. But this one is going to be one that we are going to discuss, and I know Sean wants to rant on this. F1 has rejected Marco Andretti's bid to join the F1 grid for 2025 or 2026, but has left the door open for the team to enter in 2028. However, some people in the NASCAR community said that Marco Andretti's team needs to go to NASCAR. And this is just a rumor. Your thoughts about that? I'm going to start with Sean. Your thoughts about, could Andretti possibly go to NASCAR? Because that's definitely a Brumbo, I can tell you that for sure. Unless he had to go do something. Okay, well, we'll come back to Sean. Taylor, your thoughts about that?
Well, definitely. I mean, Andretti and NASCAR would be interesting. For sure, and it would be interesting to see that happen, and be interesting to see what the manufacturers the team would run if they were to do that, and how the team functioned in NASCAR. It would be very interesting to see that happen for sure.
I definitely think this could be interesting to see how that will play out as far as the NASCAR side of things to come. So yeah, so definitely we're gonna look forward to that. Has he? Oh, he's muted. That would probably be why. Okay, he probably had to go do something, but you know, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen as far as that's concerned because we don't know what could happen. I mean, I'm kind of I'm thinking could it happen? Maybe that's going to depend what series he's going to be in. Plus, if he does enter NASCAR, that team would have to make the field on time due to the fact that they are a brand new team with no owner points to fall back on. And yeah, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, definitely they would have to do that.
But not just that, but who would also be driving for them? That's the other question that we have to discuss.
Maybe they throw Marco Andretti in the car.
I wouldn't say that's a bad idea. It's an interesting idea. I'll admit that.
Yeah, I mean, Marco has raced a few NASCAR races before, so I mean, I could see them doing that, and maybe that happens if they join.
Yeah, definitely that will be something we're going to have to keep our eye on, if you know what I mean. So let's see here. Let's see. Yeah. Going back to the Clash deal, if they end up racing the Clash, they're going to have a different layout than what they ran in 2008. If they do race at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez, they're going to have a different layout than what they ran back in 2008. So let's see here. If we have any other news as far as NASCAR is concerned, because we will be getting into our NR 2003 update. Oh, Taylor, you want to hear this big rumor?
What would that be?
Okay, you and Sean are both going to say broads of this.
No.
From Formula Racers, we were talking about Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
There are rumors that he could bring his race engineer Peter Bonington, or Bono as he like to call him, to Maranello. Thoughts about that?
What?
Oh, hi, Sean. Welcome back. Formula Racers tweeted this. We talked about Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari. There's rumors that Lewis Hamilton will bring several Mercedes engineers with him to Ferrari, including Bono, his race engineer. Who in the world saw this one coming? Imagine Bono, Peter Bonington, and Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari. Can you imagine that, Taylor?
Well, I mean, in a way, that would make sense for him to do that.
Yeah. And also, let me also go back to the question I'm gonna ask Sean that I've already asked Taylor. Would you like to see Andretti be a part of NASCAR now that the F1 deal went bye-bye?
Let me think. No.
So there's your answer right there. Hey Taylor, can I just ask you this question?
What would that be?
Okay, so Jimmy Johnson spotter Earl Barbin that he was with for his championships?
Mm-hmm.
Raise your hand for you and Sean if you had him going to Legacy Motor Club on a part-time schedule this year.
Come again.
Yes, Earl Bourbon will spot for Jimmy Johnson this year in the 84.
That's a bit shocking.
Yes. Who in the world saw that one coming? Not me.
Nope.
Yeah. And also in case you missed this, Sean, Carl Long is fielding ARCA entries, which when did that become a thing before this year started? Which is a mega bruh.
Nowhere.
Yep. Let's see here. We have a spotter. We have a Martin Truex Jr. is going to be without his regular spotter, Drew Herring.
I think that was announced a couple of months ago.
No, it was announced today, as of this taping of our show.
Oh.
This is why Martin Truex Jr. spotter Drew Harrington. This is from Pockrass. Is on Baby Watch this weekend, so he will not be at the Clash with MTJ. So Jeff Duche will spot for him in his place.
Congratulations to him on the baby.
Yeah, very good. If you guys want to see the full list, I will post this in the President's chat. Eddie DeHonch is now with Josh Berry. Trey Poole will be with Chase Elliott. Andy Houston, former driver in the Cup Series, will spot for Noah Gragson. Tim Vitawell will go to Ryan Blaney. Brent Wentz will go to Kaz Gralla, he was an extra spotter for 2311 Racing, which is a bra moment. Joe White was Briscoe's pre-spotter for 2023, will be with Josh Williams and AJ Allmendinger. Jason Jarrett, former NASCAR Cup Series driver from 2003, will spot for Harrison Burton. Frank Denny will spot for Daniel Hemrick, was with Allmendinger last year. Michael Fisher's RFK extra spotter will go to Michael McDowell. Tony Raines will spot for Ryan Preece. Hey, a former Cup driver spotting a current Cup driver. How interesting is that? Ryan Blanchard, extra spotter for 2311 Racing, will spot for John Hunter Nemechek. Chris Osborne, longtime spotter and Rex Laws spotter in the Xfinity Series last year, will spot for Haley. Josh Williams, Ryan Blaney's spotter, will spot for Zane Smith. And Tyler Green, which was Harrison Burton's spotter last year, will spot for Carson Hocevar. Among the other changes and all that.
Yeah. And this offseason has had a lot of changes.
Yeah, and also, a lot of different paint schemes too, if you know what I mean, with all the cars. So, let's see here. Let's see. I haven't. The weather is going to be too far down the road. Let's see. Oh. We talked about SVG, who's going to run 7 Cup races, but we didn't know which team. Well, it's going to be with Kaulig, even though it's going to be a partnership with Trackhouse. SVG will do 7 Cup races this year in the Kaulig 16 Cup car, Coda, Bodega races, Coke 600, Chicago, Watkins Glen, and Las Vegas in October. I'm kind of surprised SVG is not doing Sonoma, even though he will be racing Sonoma in the Xfinity Series. So there you go.
I think it's good to see SVG in more Cup races, just to let him see how he's going to do with all these sort of tracks.
Yeah. The other thing is that he doesn't have to worry about trying to have to make the show on time, because let's face it, he's running a Kaulig car and he's running for Kaulig in the Xfinity Series. Of course, it is a partnership with Trackhouse, so it makes a lot of sense. But then the back of my mind is, who's going to be driving that Project 91 car that we've been seeing a lot the last couple of years. If anything, I would love to see Kimi Räikkönen come back.
Well, you know that SVG should be driving a couple of those part-time races. Actually, maybe all of those part-time races in that car.
Well, remember, he's also going to be in that car for the. He's going to probably drive for Trackhouse for the All-Star race because remember, he's locked into the All-Star race due to the fact he won at the Chicago Street Circuit last year, and Allmendinger won at the Roval last year. So there's that.
And got a point there.
So yes. Also from Adam Stern, this is what they. Steve O'Donnell noted that they're in talks with entitlements in Canada and Montreal about possible races, but he said I wouldn't want to put at it just Mexico as a possibility. So there you go. And by the way, Taylor, the fake account said that Allstate joining host of ours is like a false. Because I know Adam Stern did not post that, unless he did. I could be wrong.
Let me actually go look that up. And
So yeah. Yeah, Adam Stern said, Cup teams have unanimously agreed to let their charter negotiating period with NASCAR expire without a further extension, per sources revealing their frustration with the state of talks. One of the sources said a deal is likely months away. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm not seeing nothing about it.
Yeah, it's probably false. Funny thing is, when Lewis Hamilton announced he's going to Ferrari, sales went up like crazy. So it's really big. Also, we found out who's going to drive the one truck for Tricon Garage. It will be ARCA superstar Tony Breidinger.
Good luck with her.
Yeah.
I guess.
Don't know who will be in that truck, but like I said, it's going to be an all-star entry. I know William Sawalage, or as some people like to call it, William Make Me a Sandwich, will also be running some races. God. Hey, I'm not the one who came up with that name. Let's get that right. I believe that is it for the top story news, unless any of you guys have any stories that I missed.
No, but I think that's all the racing news I've heard.
Other than Las Vegas will be setting up their track 3 months earlier than they did last year for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. So
yeah, that will work a lot better. Maybe though, if it doesn't get cutting close on time, you might want to start maybe 5 months early.
Yeah. Of course, Madrid's going to replace Barcelona, but I wouldn't rule Barcelona out to possibly stay on the F1 calendar, but we'll have to wait and see when we get to details.
I kind of wish they keep...
They might keep it, just put it under the European Grand Prix. That's what I would like to think.
Yeah, I hope so.
Because the last time we had 2 races in Spain was, of course, Barcelona, but then we also had that fun street circuit in Valencia. So, and I got pinged. F word, Angel Gutierrez in the PSR LA. He said, "F my life. They will really come back after 2 decades."
No.
Oh, I'm just gonna move on and not even get in trouble with Sean. Let's see here. I think that is it for the top story news uh, as far as I'm seeing. Do need to mention this, and I want Zachary Taylor's opinion on this. Brody Kostecki will not be in the one car. Of course, he would be driving car number one as the defending Supercars champion. We don't know what the reasons are as far as that's concerned. You and I talked about this last week on the show. It looks like it's going to be Todd Hazelwood that will be filling in for Brody Kostecki for the Bathurst the Bathurst 500. Your thoughts about that, Taylor?
That definitely is interesting with Todd Hazelwood being the replacement. Definitely be interesting to see how Todd Hazelwood does over there, but Brody not being in there definitely is a surprise, and who knows? Maybe he comes over to NASCAR and joins Shane Van Gisbergen. Who knows? Since there has been rumors about the Kostecki possibly coming to NASCAR, so who knows? Maybe we see two former supercar drivers in NASCAR.
Well, the thing is also, and we're going to also need to bring this up, is that what's going to happen with Brody Kostecki's deal with NASCAR, because he was supposed to run a few Cup races with Richard Childress Racing, and then we didn't know if he was leaving Eberus. Some reports said he was leaving Eberus. So I don't know what's going to happen with the 33 for Brody Kostecki as far as that is concerned. But, that's something we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's see. I think that is about it. And I also want to point something else out. And I would agree with Sean on this. The F1 season hasn't even begun, and silly season, bam, just like that was kicked to a higher gear. Which, like I said, nobody saw that one coming.
Yeah.
So, yes. Time for our NR 2003 report. Our very own Sean Art won the season finale at Toronto in a wreckfest, which Sean likes to say his line, Carnage, my favorite. Sean's second win in the DRL Red Bull GT Series, his first of the season, which, by the way, Sean and Jesse both have now got a win apiece in the DRL Red Bull GT Series. Addison Peterson finished 17th, which was good enough to win her not just Rookie of the Year, but the Drivers' Championship as well. So congratulations to Sean, congratulations to Addie, and congratulations to all the drivers as far as that's concerned. Also, this was 7 hours ago. Workforce Occupation Health and Safety Solutions has now joined has joined Zane Smith in the 71 with Spire for 2024, so that's good.
Yeah.
So, yes. Let me go back to my list and see what else we have to talk about. I think that is about it as far as that is concerned. Yeah, that's about it as far as the report. So, and of course, normally we'd be looking ahead, but because we have no race this weekend coming up because it's the Super Bowl, whoop whoop. Which I should also remind you, this promotional announcement: the Super Bowl Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3:30 Pacific on CBS, between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers, which the three of us will be making predictions on that. So we're definitely looking forward to that. And next week, we're back on, in Sean's favorite term, Depression Day, as we're going to, which also brings us a look at this week's upcoming Triple P notes. Next week on Valentine's Day, or as Sean likes to call it, Depression Day, we're going to have the top story news, the NR report. We're going to look ahead to Daytona, make our predictions for the NASCAR weekend at Daytona. And guess what? It's just NASCAR because there is no Global, as I said, because Global's off until March. So that is a look at this week's upcoming PCSRA events, brought to you by Subway Eat Fresh, proud sponsor of Chloe Baumgartner and the number 84 Audi in the Monster Energy Series. And you know what it's time for, ladies and gentlemen? It's time to get happy. Time to get happy, people, as of today, for everybody. All right. Time to get happy, people, as far as the birthdays and all that. Give me 1 second. This is like my favorite thing I'm going to do, rip it off from Pardon the Interruptions, if you know what I mean. Hey. So, yeah. It's time to get happy. Time to get happy, Taylor. So, yes. So, happy time. Happy birthday to, happy 35th birthday to Matthew Stafford. The quarterback who led the Rams to their only Super Bowl win back in 2022. He also led the Detroit Lions to the NFC Championship game, only to get eliminated by the 49ers. Can you believe that?
He didn't do that.
But hey, he had a great season, nevertheless.
And also, the second time the Rams won the Super Bowl.
Yep. Oh, definitely. Happy anniversary to my Buccaneers. On this day 3 years ago, Tom Brady put in a clutch performance after Tampa Bay beat the Kansas City Chiefs 31-9, which Tom Brady got his 7th Super Bowl win and was the MVP in that process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty good for us. And a tearful happy trails to Carl Weathers. The actor who known for his role for Rocky has died as of this recording at the age of 76. Weathers, a former NFL linebacker, starred as boxer Apollo Creed, opposing Sylvester Stallone in the Rocky films. Started in the 1976 original. He was also in Predator, and also got him an Emmy. He was also a part of the golf comedy Happy Gilmore with Adam Sandler, which Sean loves using Adam Sandler every time somebody gets a You Blew It. So a tearful happy trails to Carl Weathers. He was 76 years old. So, yes. So, boys, any final thoughts before we get ready to get closer and closer to the Daytona weekend? I think all three of us are looking forward to the Daytona weekend.
Let's just get to next week. Let's just get to next week. Come on, let's get there.
Yeah, we're going to definitely enjoy the Super Bowl. But, for me, I think, this is going to be a fun race as far as that's concerned. I think we're definitely looking forward to Daytona. The big question is going to be, for some teams that struggle, can they have a bounce back performance? That's something we're going to have to wait and see. But it sure is going to be a fun episode so far. Anything else? Anything you want to say, Taylor, before we sign off?
Let's see.
Let me see if I can think of anything. Let's see. I don't really think I have too much. All right, let's go with it.
I think that is the most enthusiastic Zachary Taylor impression that we've had on the show, as far as that is concerned. Hey, it's a compliment. Oh, it's not an answer. The Oklahoma Highway Safety Office is a proud sponsor of Triple P and wants to remind all of our friends that drinking and driving is deadly and illegal. Together as a country, we can end DUI. Visit endui.com for more information. And you know what I get to say? My final thought is we all survived another episode of Triple P. How awesome is that? So I want to thank you all so much for joining us for this installment of Triple P, episode 177. Can you believe we've done 177 episodes of this fine television programming? Because we are so famous. But thank you all so much for joining us for Triple P for this week. We look forward to seeing you guys next week for Daytona on Valentine's Day. We'll be having it live for you at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. that is. So that's when we normally have it premiered. So yes. If you guys like this episode, be sure to give it a like. If you haven't considered subscribing yet, I highly recommend you do so in order to keep up with some wonderful content coming out in the near future, as well as future episodes of your favorite podcast coming out throughout the rest of this week and onward to the next. On behalf of Sean Art and Zachary Taylor, I'm Daniel Voiles, aka PCS Ray Blue Hedgehog 26, signing out saying you have been watching yet another broadcast of PCS Ray TV as we celebrate 14 years as the best center racing around the world since 2017. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the Super Bowl. And as I said earlier, we survived another episode of Triple P. We'll see you next week on Triple P. Until then, it's goodbye for now.